Alright guys, I thought I would make a second video on on some common rounds that they have for, available for different rifles and pistols. Just some of the more common, really common rounds, honestly. You've got 9mm, 45 ACP, 5.56, and 308. Some people, call these different things. 223 is also the same thing as 5.56. There's some stipulation on that, whether, what's the difference, and, some of the, anymore I don't think it matters that much, but we're going to make some videos on the different dealing with the difference between 223 and 5.56. Kind of the same thing on 7.60 by 308, but that's a whole different thing. But I'll go ahead and I'll start off with the 9mm here. The 9mm round is this one in particular is a pretty good brand. It's made by Herders. Just right out of the box, you can tell they look fairly well, just pretty good quality, look like they're brand new cases, everything. They don't look like reloads, but that doesn't really mean anything. They could always be good reloads. These happen to be full metal jacket, 115 grain. A lot of people use these more for target rounds. Obviously anything is better than nothing whenever you're talking home defense, but a lot of people don't really use these for home defense. They don't do enough stopping power really to make an intruder really want to leave. When you're talking about home defense, a lot of people are talking more like hollow points, kind of like these 45s here. A lot of people choose those. They do make hollow points in 9mm, but the 9mm is more of a starting round, a range. A lot of people end up picking up a 9mm because it's cheaper. I would like eventually to move to a 45. It's a little bit more expensive, but you can reload them a lot easier to me. You can reload 9s. A lot of people would tell you that, oh, 9mm is just as easy, but they're pretty good pressure round, high pressure round. A lot of difference in the actual length of the full length of the bullet. The whole overall length can determine what kind of pressure is in here by how far the bullet actually is in here. So you really have to be sure that with anything really, but 9mm, my understanding is it's pretty good on that one. But a lot of people use 9mm to start out with, use it to train with. It's a lot cheaper than 45 most of the time, but it's also a lot of fun. But I personally like 9mm. You can carry more rounds. My pistol has 17 rounds in each magazine. We're at 45, and that same pistol only carries 12. And a lot of people are like, well, why would you want 5 more rounds? Well, I'd rather have 5 more than 5 less. Simple. But the idea is mainly just to have enough to totally prevent an intruder from being around if you have to use it. I'm not saying that you use it. You use the full 17 rounds whenever somebody comes to your house, but you don't want to have to use it. That's the point. But the 9mm is an awesome round. A lot of people, instead of the 9mm, will choose the 45 for home defense because it just has so much more stopping power. 45s, these are obviously full metal jacketed, steel case ones. They're Russian made. They're Wolf. Those happen to be 220 grain bullets. Once again, those are more along the lines of targeting rounds, and definitely in 45 because the hollow points, you can see, this box may be 2 to 3 times more expensive than these Wolf ammo sometimes, and these are the ones that are 185 grain, expanding to hollow points, but they do tend to cost a lot more. The hollow points are what everybody chooses to do, home defense, self-defense. A lot of times too, full metal jackets will end up going through drywall and walls, so you have to think about the safety of your family in 2 ways there. You definitely don't want to fire in their direction with any bullet, but if you had to, you want something that doesn't penetrate the wall as much as it would, an actual intruder. But a lot of people pick 45. They're a lot more powerful round. they'll kick somebody's butt pretty good on there. Personally, like I said, I shoot 9mm just because it's cheaper at the moment. I can't really afford 45, but they're good to have. These are obviously going to be the ones that have the lead coming out of the back of the bullet, and then they have the copper jacketed around at the hollow points. They'll look more along the lines of this round here, where it's got a hollow point in the tip. This is a 308 round. It's nothing to do with 45, but just to give you an example, flat bottom, copper wrapped around to a hollow point with lead inside there. That's pretty good explanation on that one. But a lot of people like 45. Personally, I like it just because it's an awesome round. But like I said, I can't afford it at the moment. But they are pretty good. I'll go ahead and I'll move on to 5.56. I don't have a whole lot of time on the video, but the 5.56 and 223 rounds are probably the most common as far as, like I said, AR-15s. There's lots of bolt actions that are in there. A lot of times they're called varmint guns because 223 is good for just about anything, or 5.56. I've seen people deer hunt with them as long as you have the right rounds and what's legal, depending on what's legal in your state. These happen to be Full Metal Jacket 55 grain boat-tailed, which I've told you what Full Metal Jacket meant, but the boat-tailed means, like, this is a 308 round, but it's a hollow point boat-tailed, and that's what this little angle is here on the end. It allows the projectile as it's going through the air to stabilize as it's going through the air, rather than just having the flat round on there, the flat end of the round. It may not stabilize as much. It's still going to obviously shoot out of the gun, but these tend, in my our experience of shooting, these tend to be a little bit more accurate. Target rounds or anything, I mean, it doesn't matter. They really get the job done. But that's kind of what that bullet looks like in here, except for it's the exact same thing where it has the Full Metal Jacket wrapped around down to the bottom, and you have lead core in there. So it's smaller, but this is going to be more, like I said, a target round, a round that you could probably shoot coyotes and stuff with, but legally you probably shouldn't do that unless they're causing an issue, even if it's the only ammo you had, and depending on what their hunting regulations are. But that's, like I said, that's the most common round as far as AR-15s go. Everybody who has an AR will most likely have a 223 one. Now these 308s, on the other hand, like I said, they're a common round. They're a good long distance round as well. Everybody has probably had a 308 at some point in their life, whether it was a hunting rifle, military rifle. When you get into the military rifle style, they get really expensive. AR-10s and 14s, you'll see quite a price jump there, but that's because they are such a huge round. That's the 308, in my opinion, is one of the most perfect rounds they have. A lot of people will say, a 50 cal or a 338 Lapua. I think it's just fine with a 308. Plus, you can actually find them in regular stores like Walmart, Cabela's. Any firearm store will probably have 308s, but they're some of the most common hunting bullets because you don't, once a 308 hits something, especially at hollow point, there's not a whole lot of running around after it. So it really gets the job done. I just thought I'd give a little example on a few rounds here, just to kind of also test the video here on the bullets and everything. At some point, I've got another round over here that's a little different. That one's kind of dirty. A little different. This one's the 300 Blackout. It's kind of a mixture between the 223 and the 308, and the fact that it uses a 223 case that has been trimmed down and then necked up to a 308 bullet. This one happens to be 150 grain, which is exactly what this one is, and it compares almost to an AK round, but it will pack more punch than an AK round at the 500 yard line on there. It's such a good round, but it's a whole nother video as far as rounds go, but it's just a cool looking round. I thought I'd throw that in there. And I've actually made all of these, so I've reloaded them, made the cases, reprimed them, powdered everything. So these are actually our rounds made from blanks. A lot of people think the blanks are, not very strong, but they're exact same cases that are used to build Lake City bullets. Actually, they're probably stronger than some. So, but that's a whole nother video. I'll do a whole video on 300 Blackout because I just like them so much. They're an awesome round. You know, they're good for hog hunting, any kind of hunting really. But like I said, another whole nother video on that one. But yeah, I just thought I'd make a whole video, guys, on just a few common rounds. I know I probably went around back and forth a lot. Seeing this is my second video, obviously it's, you know, I'm kind of nervous there, but I'll get better as I go along. I've got some pretty cool things planned, you know, different shooting videos and some different how-to videos. You know, got some pretty cool stuff planned. I got a lot of cool. I got a setup on there to borrow some guns to be able to shoot and be able to review, and some that are custom and some that are, you know, right out of the factory. So I mean, just average stuff. Like I said, we're just going to be doing some shooting videos, some explanations, you know, prepping, reloading, cleaning guns. It could be just about anything on there. So, but just remember to subscribe to our channel, NWA Tactical Ballistics. Of course, it's abbreviated on there because of the way they their rules on the Google Plus. But either way, NWATB. But subscribe to our video, leave some comments, you know, some ideas for some other videos. Like I said, I've got plenty of videos planned for y'all. So just like I said, have fun, you know, and always be safe when you're dealing with firearms or bullets. As long as you're, you know, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. But thanks, and y'all have fun.